Hello, it's Burgess Taylor, and this is week 11 check-in for The Artist Way. Recovering a sense of autonomy is what this week is about. Autonomy is the freedom from external control or influence. It's being independent. That we are going to look at the different ways that we nurture and accept ourselves. Those behaviors that either strengthen or weaken our creative power. Part of this has to do with acceptance, and she talks about acceptance like we sometimes need validation. We need outside approval, we need accolades. It has a lot to do with the fame that we talked about in week 10. Our lives are our art in a sense, our income, our house, our creative process, our friends, our appearance. And instead of worrying about what others think and requiring that validation, those accolades, that we need to worry more about what works for us and what makes us happy, and not worry about what other people think. That artistic measure of our credibility is actually between ourselves and our work, and then I guess God too, if you are spiritual in that way. I think for me it's between me, myself, and I and my work. And as far as spirituality goes, I think being spiritual improves my creativity. It gives me a sense of groundedness and centeredness. Let's talk a minute about the acceptance. So sometimes we've had conservative parents or teachers or other role models who have actually been more concerned with our success and our survival than our blossoming creativity. Oftentimes with that, it's a bit of a pitfall, because if you are artistic and you are constantly around people who are non-artistic, she talks a lot about different things like that in this chapter. She says that we as creative people tend to need a different mixture of stability and flow. We need a mixture of structure and freedom. I loved this quote. This is one of my favorite quotes. As artists, we are spiritual sharks. The ruthless truth is that if we don't keep moving, we sink to the bottom and die. Creativity is the oxygen for our soul. So if you cut off that creativity, we're going to become a bit like those zombies from The Walking Dead. And yeah, not a good thing. So in order to help with that, she talks next about the zen of sports. And she says that creativity, that ours is a mental, cerebral sport more than a physical sport. That we think of all the things we want to do but can't early on. And next, we think of all the things we want to do but don't. That just hit me so hard, because in the first few weeks, I was thinking about all of the things I wanted to do but I couldn't do. That was that fear. I couldn't do. And then the next few weeks, I'm thinking of all those things that I want to do, but I'm not doing them. The procrastination, which stems from the fear, letting the distractions sway me into watching too much Netflix or too much Hulu, or reading for too long. I'm supposed to read for an hour or two a day, and instead I'm reading for a lot more. And I don't know why this is out of... Okay, so now we're going to get to the next part. I'm not quite sure where I was, but I think I was talking about the shark thing, and The Walking Dead, and the zen of sports. So to truly recover, a real recovery from that, where you go from we think of all the things that we want to do but don't, she says that we have to move out of our head and into our body of work. To do this, we must first of all move into the body. This requires that acceptance we were talking about. That our artistic measure of our credibility, like I said, is between ourselves and our work. Success talks about the idea that creativity can't really be perfected and finished, because just when we get there disappears. And like I said, we were talking about fame. So then you have to get to that point where you have acceptance. She says that exercise combats spiritually induced dysfunction. That sounded like one of those weird late night commercials. But she says that 20 minutes of walking each day connects us with the earth. That it teaches us the rewards of process, and it reconnects us to our creativity, because it helps us lose the obsessive self-focus of self-exploration and just simply explore. To me, it lets me just be me. When I take a 20-minute walk, or I go for a bicycle ride or something like that, I take the time to clear my head. It helps me get a different perspective. I actually can smell the roses, feel the breeze on my skin, and I do reconnect with the earth. I get a breath of fresh air, and it really does just clear my mind, and it helps me go back to my work with more focus. She says that it helps transfer the brain's energies from the logic to the artist hemisphere, which is very true. She says that connecting to a sense of universal creativity, that's what she calls this, is a communion with nature, and the endorphin-induced high gives us this all is right with the world, or the singing in the heart, or gives us a new perspective. We learn to solve our problems by tapping our own inner resources and listening for inspiration. And that is very true. And I have decided after this past week, I've been talking a lot about routine and ritual and things like that, and I thought this week had changed things up. I started getting up earlier. I started doing my morning pages, and I'm out of focus again. Okay. I think this has to do with the sunlight, y'all, because it's cloudy outside. So I'm going to hurry this up. I am thinking that from now on, after I do my morning pages, I'm just going to go ahead and do my walk. I've been kind of changing things up on and off, trying to figure out what works, and that really does work best for me, because my morning pages helps, one, get me get all the negativity and the venting and all of that out of my system, the worry, the stress, the anxiety. It really does. Sometimes my morning pages are like that, and other times my morning pages are more focused. But I think if I take my walk after my morning pages and then I come back home, I take my shower, I think it would work a lot better for me. The next thing is building your artist's altar. She says that you could find a haven, a corner, a room, a nook, and you fill it with things that make you happy. The sensory experience, like of burning incense or candles or music, that helps with our creativity, is the importance of keeping spirituality centered and grounded, and it also helps us have a special place. I think as far as like, and this is why I'm in a different spot. I don't normally show this part, and I've revamped this because last you probably saw I had art stuff on there. I had a small little creativity spiritual corner, and that wasn't really working so well because of too much stuff. I have too much stuff. At the end of this, you're going to see how my whole writing room, craft room, creative room is sort of a creativity altar, because I don't have just one thing going on in this room. I do my art in here, I do spirituality stuff in here, I do my reading in here, I do my writing in here. This is, for all intents and purposes, definitely a creativity room. So I'm going to show you a little bit of footage. Right now my room is a mess, so you're not really going to see the floor or the couch, because I have art supplies all over the place, because I've been trying to organize some things. And with Camp NaNoWriMo going on, I took a minute away from that to write and then to film. And I'm like, you know what, I could clean it and then I could film, or I'll just show you the top part because that's what's really important. The bottom of this really doesn't matter. So while this video is saving and uploading, I will be cleaning my room. But I wanted to share a little bit with you because I think it's important. I have a candle lit, I have incense burning, I have my tarot cards and my oracle deck, spiritual books, and astrology books and things like that. An eclectic person when it comes to spirituality. And that, other than that, that's about all I'm going to say about my spirituality, because I have a whole different channel for that. I hope you have a good one. I will talk to you again soon. Thanks for watching. Bye. Pretty much my whole writing room is a creative altar. The bookcases. And you're going to see some of the mess that is my desk and my writing room. To the inspiration board with cards and post-it notes and things. Memorabilia to my NaNoWriMo certificates, and they're not all up there. To the vision board of my family. Creative things. The chief enemy of creativity is good sense. To art stuff. I have fairy lights. I have Christmas lights. Well, they're going to be my fairy lights. Art I created that needs to be put somewhere. And then you're going to see my pile of things down there that I need to put up. And books, papers. And then you're going to see a side that you don't very often get to see. And I'm going to cut the light off this. The new microphone that is not as nice as I thought it was going to be, but hopefully it will work. So you're going to see the pile of things that is my desk.